Welcome back to my channel. If you're wondering why I look like a beautiful flower child, it is because I was inspired by this beautiful gem right here. Her name is Nyane on Instagram. She's not in focus, but let's make her in focus. There. Absolutely stunning. I was inspired by this photo, and really she does a whole bunch of kind of looks like this with like the flowers and like the intense inner corner and just like all this beautifulness. If you don't follow her, I really don't know what you're doing. You should probably go do that right now. I'll even pause. But I just think that her looks are so gorgeous and so different, so I just wanted to come on here to the tube and do a little something to recreate this vibe right here, her vibe. Recreate her vibe. So if you are ready to see how I turn into this flower child. She has lots of freckles. I skipped the freckles, but that's because I've never really done freckles before. I didn't want to come on here and just mess it up, you know? Like, I need to practice first before I do it on camera. But anyways, if you guys are ready to see how I turned into a flower child, don't forget to, of course, like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can see what other kind of weird things I turn into on here. This is probably the weirdest thing thus far, but stay tuned, you don't know what else I'm gonna do in the future. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe, you guys, and after you do that, we'll just get right on into today's video. Okay, so first to start off, we're gonna prime using the Maybelline Master Primer. This is just always my go-to primer because I always need extra moisture in my skin, and it gives a little bit of a smoothing effect too. So it's kind of the best of both worlds for a dry chick like me. By the way, everything that I'm going to be using I brought with me on vacation when I was in the Cayman Islands. So this is an inspired makeup tutorial / what I brought with me on vacation. Okay, so now for foundation, we're going to use my favorite combo, Maybelline Superstay and Loreal Infallible Pro Glow. When you're prepping foundations for vacation and stuff like that, I think it's always really important to bring like a couple shades of foundation because you're going on vacation, you're gonna be out in the sun, you're spending all day at the beach, and you're gonna get a little tan, you know? So I brought a foundation that was a little too light for me and too dark for me. And then I mix those together, which is how I get this perfect foundation shade. And of course, if I just get darker, I'll use more of the dark shade. So when you mix those two foundations together, you just get a full coverage foundation with a little bit of a glow, and it's absolutely perfect. The entire time I was on vacation, I was confident that my foundation was not gonna go anywhere. And for concealer, I brought with me the Makeup Revolution one right here, and I am in the shade C12. I don't know if you can, there we go. Oh, and by the way, this sponge right here, it's so good. This is the Morphe one, and it is seriously so freaking bomb. I think this is the best sponge I've ever tried besides the actual beauty blender. Because usually, you know, I get a sponge, like I love my Eco Tools one, but I'm just like, damn it, it's not a beauty blender, you know? But with this one, I have no complaints. I'm like, you know, this is a great dupe. Like, I am fully satisfied with how this applies my makeup. Fully satisfied. Even though this is going to be kind of an intense look, I'm not going to bake because I just don't feel like it. And I'm going to use my RCMA No Color Powder that I leave in this packaging, which is an old L'Oreal powder packaging. And I am just going to push the powder into my skin, everywhere that I need to set. So here, because I have forehead lines, obviously under the eyes, because that is a big creasing area. I have to hit my smile lines, And then I also like to hit right here because it kind of helps create a little bit of a contour. And I always feel like my makeup comes off literally in this spot right here first. So we're gonna hit it with some powder so it don't go nowhere. All right, so unbeknownst to y'all, I just took some time to do my eyebrows and drink some coffee, which is pretty much almost gone off. Okay, so now continuing on, we're gonna move back to the eyes. We're gonna start and do some eyeshadow now. I'm gonna use the Tarte Pro Amazonian Clay Palette. That is a lot of freaking words for a palette name, but I didn't name it. So I feel like this is a pretty popular palette. It's by Tarte. It looks like this. It's got a bunch of colors in it, and it's really one of my go-tos, honestly. And I brought this one with me on vacation because I brought it with me on vacation last year too, and it just really kind of covered all the bases that I needed. You know, I have my warm mattes, and I have some pinky purpley shades. I have a black if I want to get like that. Okay, if I'm going for that kind of vibe and show the islands some smoke, you know, I can do that if I want to. I have the options with this palette. Okay, so to start off the eyes, I'm gonna use the shade Bold, which is this one right here. And I'm just gonna kind of put it everywhere for a nice little base. Super funny, I just recorded this, like this part of me saying what I just said, and then my camera shut off because I wasn't actually recording anything. So that's awkward. You know, like when you're talking to someone and then you realize they're not listening to you, like that's awkward. But when you're talking to yourself and then you realize your camera isn't even listening to you, that's embarrassing. And you can be super messy with this shade right here. You can even mess up, throw it on the lid. We're gonna cut that out later anyways. Cut that crease. And I do wanna make sure that this shade kind of goes out far. This eyeshadow is gonna go out pretty far, so just wanna kind of give it that shape already so I know what I'm working with. Okay, so now I'm gonna go right in with the star of the show here. I'm gonna use the shade Maud, which is right here. It's a pinky shade. And I'm just gonna throw it all up in the crease. What's the opposite of heavy-handed? Light-handed? I don't know. Definitely start light and build it up because it's just gonna be easier to blend out that way. And also, by the way, before I forget, this little brush right here that I'm using, that's all dirty now, that low-key won't focus, which is probably a good thing, is part of this little brush set that came in this brush holder container, which is from Morphe. It came with a bunch of little brushes from the Rose Gold collection, which is really cool. So I brought some of those with me on vacation as well because they were just the perfect size, just what I needed. Especially this little one right here. It is perfect for nose contour, and I've been on the hunt for the perfect nose contour brush. So I'm so stoked about this, but we'll use him later. So now that we're done with that, we're gonna move on to the fun part, or maybe the hard part. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're gonna move on to the fun part, or maybe the hard part, depending on how you view cut creases. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in with the Makeup Revolution concealer, and I'm gonna take a little concealer brush, this guy right here, and I'm gonna use him to help me just carve out the crease. So I'm gonna do one eye at a time because I don't want the concealer to get too dry, and then the shadow won't apply on top how I want it to. So I'm just gonna take the concealer, do like some little dots, maybe a little swipey swipe so I can get the right amount that I want on here. Use it to spread it out so I can get the shape that I want. And if I need more, I'll just kind of dig into the concealer a little bit and grab a little bit more. And I'll just put it on here. Okay, so now the lid shade that I'm gonna go in with is gonna be Glam. So this one right here. Just gonna throw it right on top of the concealer. Glam. That is the perfect name for that shade, especially considering the look that we're doing. Looking mighty fine. Okay, so now that we have that done, we're gonna go back in with the same brush that we had the crease shade on, the shade Mod, the crease shade on, you know, this brush that we used to do this part. So we're gonna go back into that pinky shade. I'm just gonna grab just a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just go lightly over the top just to make sure there's nothing too wild going on here. So now I'm gonna take the same pink shade and put it right under the lower lash line. I also have some black eyeshadow on my lower lash line. Alright, so now that I low-key look a little scary since my lower lash line is so intense, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with mascara and eyeliner. No, I need to do eyeliner first. And no wing today, just gonna, you know, put a line on my eyeballs. And I'm just gonna make it a little bit thicker at the end of my eye, just to give a little more shape. Okay, so now I'm gonna actually go ahead and hit the inner corner, and I'm gonna bust open this ABH Sun Dipped Glow Kit. And I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Moonstone, which is this one right here. Maybe I'll mix it with Summer a little bit to give a little gold in there. And I'm gonna really heavily go in and pop it in the inner corners. Okay, so now that the eyes are finally finished, we can go back into the face. So I'm going in with my, I think this is just a foundation stick, but I use it for contour because I tried, or at least I thought this was in my shade when I bought it, but I was way off. So I just put that on pretty light, and then I go in with my sponge and blend it out. And I like going in with a cream contour just because it gives a really nice, natural looking contour. It really just melts into the skin a lot better. And then since I don't want it to move at all, I'm just gonna go in with this big fluffy brush and use my Powder Contour Kit by ABH and just kind of set it all down. And this brush is another one from the Rose Gold collection that came in the brush case that I got from Morphe. So now for a little flush on the cheeks, I'm gonna use this shade right here, which is from this e.l.f. blush palette in the shade Dark. I just want a little something on the cheeks so it flows in with the bronzer really nicely. And you can even kind of bring it up here if you want more of a flushed kind of look. Little sunburn, little I've been hanging out in the sun but not too much kind of look. And then I almost forgot my favorite little brush right here, my new fave. I'm gonna go in and set the nose contour. Bring it up here. A little bit like that. And then it usually gets a little more intense than I want it to. So then I go in with a highlighting shade from my contour kit. And I go super close, like right up next to it, and sometimes even a little bit over the contour, just to soften it up a little bit. I also sometimes will go ahead and take it down the nose. And now my nose is snatched, and my whole face is looking pretty highlighty, I think, and we haven't even gone in with highlight yet, but we about to. So we're gonna go back into the Sun Dipped Glow Kit, and I wanna go ahead and go in with the shade Tourmaline. So I'm gonna go in with that right there, and I'm actually gonna apply it using a sponge. I don't think I've done that on my channel yet, but this is definitely one of my favorite ways to apply highlight, because it really just helps it melt into the skin. And then it doesn't have that weird kind of chalky look of just like shimmery powder sitting on top of your face, which can be really weird. And there's no secret to it, literally just, you know, get some on the sponge, push it into the skin. Okay, and now we can go ahead and finish up with lips, but like, is this not to die for? I mean, we're glowing in like a radiant way. So I always have my MAC cork on me, so I'm just gonna line my lips with that real quick. And then I'm gonna go in with this Milani liquid lip in the shade Fabulous. This is kind of a deep purpley red shade. So this right here is the finished look. For the flowers, I just took one of these little things right here. I got it from the dollar store. Just cut it up. For the bigger chunks, I just cut off like the whole stem, and for the smaller parts, I just cut it up here and just stuck it into my little buns. I guess maybe a white background and white flowers weren't the best, so you could get the full effect, but you get the idea. But I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. Shout out to Nyane for being a beautiful inspiration to me. And if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.